So, folks, there is this thing called Project 2025. It is the brainchild of the Heritage Foundation think tank, as well as basically every other conservative think tank, coming together to create a Voltron of evil policy that is designed this time around to basically do a fascist takeover of America. And we've been watching through all these training videos, and now we're on a video titled Time Management for Appointees. And really a lot of these seem to be boiling down to, for the love of God, please do your job. You know, like that seems to be what the Republican training is. It's just do what you're told, please do your job, and don't post slurs on social media. That seems to be like the top 3. Number 4 is don't do crimes. Do not do crimes. Maybe time management for appointees won't be those same 4 points reiterated again. Only one way to find out. Do not do crimes. Definitely don't do crimes. Don't you dare do crimes, because that might prevent us from doing Donald Trump's agenda.
Hi, I'm Katie Sullivan, and this course is titled Time Management for Political
Why is the color grading so weird? Why does she look like she's in like an old-timey photo come to life?
Appointees.
In the eyes of many in the world,
Here we
this
go.
every 4-year ceremony we accept as normal is nothing less than a miracle.
That's right, folks. We have to swear in the president, but we're talking about the real president, Donald J. Trump. That's right. He's the real president. Don't you know? JFK Jr. emerged from the shadows in order to make sure that he becomes president this time. That's right. JFK Jr., Robert F. Kennedy Jr., coinkadink? I think not.
In America, we understand that a nation is only living as long as it is striving.
A nation is only alive as long as it is alive.
Only a few generations have been granted the role of defending freedom.
Oh, yeah, Real Red Hum. I saw like part of this story today, and I haven't had time to like look into any of the things I've seen today. But I saw that the president of the Heritage Foundation apparently allegedly beat a dog to death with a shovel 20 years ago. Like, it's really horrific. It's really horrific. I don't want to get into it right now, but like, I don't know. Like that like, I guess he turned to Kristi Noem and said, "Hold my beer." My God. Yeah, you're a Republican. You work for the Heritage Foundation. At least kill your dog with a gun. My God.
This great nation will endure as it has endured.
This great nation will endure, and it's still here, so it will continue to do so.
Will revive and will prosper.
My revulsion for these people knows no bounds. That's because they're in a constant race to get to the bottom, Dragonfly. Like, there is no bottom here. It's like, it's just an infinite void.
Forward together with courage, or turn back to policies that weakened our economy,
Circling the
diminished our
drain.
leadership in the world.
Yeah.
America's future will be in your hands.
That's right. America's future is in your hands. Because it has to be, because my brain is made out of jelly beans by this point in my administration. Ay. Project 2025. The project to overthrow democracy and make sure Donald Trump's a dictator for life. Haha. How to manage your time. Don't get sucked into playing Tetris all day. Just follow these 5 simple steps.
Former state trial court judge of a very busy court
It was his
and the
neighbor's
head of
dog?
the Office
Jesus.
of Justice Programs at the United States Department of Justice, I know the importance of time management. I promise if you are chosen to serve our next president in the administration, you will find out you can and must get more accomplished in one day than you thought you could do in a month. Whether you are in the White House
That's right. We're not going to pay you very much, and you're going to work like a dog.
or an agency, this is your chance to truly make a difference by
Please don't go on Grindr during office hours. TJ, I'm pretty sure like half half of elected Republicans are secretly gay. They probably have their office staff and appointees going on Grindr for them, you know? Like that's probably a thing. I'd be willing to bet money on it.
By putting the priorities of the president that you support into action. We are not here to mark time. We're here to make change. In order to make the most of your incredible opportunity, you will need true time management skills. You will find you are in high demand once you are working for the president.
I understand that this video is about imparting wisdom about managing time to appointees, but like, that's a bit ironic because we're like 2.5 minutes into this video and we already knew that's what the video is about. So like, chip, chop, chip, get to the point, lady. You yapping.
And juggling the massive numbers of meetings, speeches, emails,
Oh yeah, the activity on Grindr goes absolutely crazy during the RNC. I can't remember who said it, but someone said it was like the Super Bowl of gay dating, and that really does seem to be the case. Also, in Washington D.C., Grindr be bopping all the time. Okay.
Essentially managing a calendar and quick turnaround on tasks from your
That was The Onion. I mean, The Onion calls a lot of shots, okay?
superiors, all the while learning about your agency and the federal government. Implementing the president's agenda requires significant multitasking talents. You were chosen in part because you are up to the task. There are 5 areas of time management this training will cover. Your first month, effective communication.
Yeah, I think the second part of Dead Domain's video on the RNC involved dating apps and like Grindr and such. And like, man, it must be so sad. Like, it must be so sad to be a conservative, like a gay, closeted conservative. And like, the only time you can actually be yourself is at obscure parties around the RNC. Like, that's the one time every 4 years you're able to actually like just be yourself, and the other 4 years in between you have to pretend to be like virulently homophobic and bigoted. Like that sounds like a miserable life to me. Oh, Dead Domain's video was at CPAC. You're right, Banana Brains. Good catch.
Internal meetings and document review.
Okay, time management in the first month, effective communication, meetings, and document review. All areas of time management that I think of when I want to learn that skill.
You will learn about some of these topics in depth in other trainings. Here, we are just going to focus not on the substance, but on how each of these categories require effective time management. So let's dive in.
Wait, are you just pointing out that all of these things require time management and not telling us the actual skill that you want us to know?
First month. The first thing you want to do is empower your political staff. If you have political staff in place upon your arrival, spend time meeting with them before you meet with career staff. For instance, I had 6 senior political staff who answered to me. And when I took over the bureau at the Department of Justice, I spent my first few days doing nothing but meeting with not only the senior political staff, but all the junior political staff in the building as well. This is a very important thing to do because you'll get a tremendous amount of feedback from the political.
Yeah, you should know your coworkers, especially if they report directly to you. Haha.
Staff about what is going on in the office, and will help provide you with the right direction and the right people to talk to when you do arrive. It also empowers, and this is very important, it also empowers your political appointees to do the job that they have been appointed to do. You are making it clear.
Why does the room look so smoked out? She just burned some Pop-Tarts.
To career staff that your political appointees are in charge.
Look, they had a fog machine that day, but it was only for that day.
Essence. And this will save you a tremendous amount of time down the line, so you aren't trying to explain that or having to deal with, any kind of conflict between political staff and career staff. You're setting that boundary right from the beginning.
Yeah, Sapia Pop-Tarts. You know, the kinds of Pop-Tarts they had back in the day. Exactly. Back when there were, the black and white photographs, but the white was a little bit brownish.
This sounds like common sense, but you will truly have to carve out the time to meet with your political staff and task them with the jobs that ensure the president's.
Again, remember how I opened this video and was like, oh man, all the other videos have been like, do your job, idiot. And wow, surprise, surprise. This one is also do your job, idiot. Yeah, you should meet with the people who report to you in order to understand who to tell what, you know? My God.
Agenda is implemented. Please don't assume that your political staff knows what they are supposed to be doing in your particular office. So carve that time off. The next best time management tool in your...
Oh, wait, no, chat. I get it. Antifa must have broken into the office and tried to burn this flag. They just fought off Antifa. They heroically doused the flames that would have engulfed the American flag. And that's why the room is so smoky.
First month is to really try to stack the deck in your favor. There is a saying, personnel is policy. When you first arrive, you need to inquire and find out how many political spots are allocated to your office, to your agency. You can go through your White House liaison and potentially presidential personnel to find out what's available to you. How can you bring in people to support the mission of the president with you? It's very difficult to do that on your own. You're going to end up doing everything by yourself, regardless of what level.
Yeah, you need to delegate tasks. Delegate to your subordinates. Delegate.
You come in as a political, so you want to build up your team as quickly as possible. Recruitment takes time. Sending resumes and having conversations and interviews, that takes time. That is time very well spent in order to bring people in who share your vision, the president's vision,
Ooh, Uncle
and
Gumball,
your
exciting.
vision of how to implement the priorities of the administration. The next thing is learning your agency and becoming very familiar with your office. And again, I'm putting this third on purpose. So the first thing is to set that goal and that boundary that will really serve you later on, so that everybody understands the way that things are going to run. You want to spend time getting to know your agency. Who do you report to? What are the expectations in those meetings? When I first landed at the Department of Justice and actually was running the Office of Violence Against Women, I found out that I had a quarterly meeting with the Deputy Attorney General 2 weeks after I started. It was very important to me to attend that meeting by myself without career staff assistance.
The insane part about all of this is like, yeah, it was very important that I don't have experienced people around me to be able to tell me how to get the things done that I want to get done. It's very important that I be as incompetent as possible at this job. You guys don't understand. The people who are here who know how to do all the things, they're the ones who are wrong. They're the enemy, all right? We need true dipshits, real nincompoops. We need to put them in there, okay? We need to put them in there. We need to see them just push random buttons, okay? Surely nothing bad will come of that.
Because it was important to start to foster relationships with other politicals. So in order to prepare for the meeting, my staff briefed me. I did research on my own. I asked a lot of questions. I actually learned the office, came up with an agenda, found out how the Deputy Attorney General liked to run his meetings, what his read-aheads needed to look like. That set me up for every quarterly meeting that I had with the Deputy Attorney General going forward. I also reported to the Associate Attorney General. Actually, that was monthly. And again, finding out how to prepare for meetings and what's expected of you in the first meeting will save you so much time down the line. So please take time getting to know that. Get familiar, obviously.
You know, Simric, it's like she had to learn the entire thing from scratch because she wasn't qualified to actually hold the position she was in. It's weird like that.
With your office, who's your senior staff? what role do they play? Who responds directly to them?
Do your own research and ask questions. Exactly, TJ Thurza. But don't ask too many questions or the wrong kinds of questions. And remember, even while you're doing your own research, make sure you don't think for yourself, okay? Because you're there to implement the policy of the president's agenda.
It's really important to differentiate between senior executive service or SES employees and Schedule C or GS employees. Your senior executive service employees
Use
are
Q
people
as an
that
official source.
you will want to identify for certain personnel reasons. Also know how long you, as a junior staff, as someone whose principal hasn't shown up, you can start to read executive orders. Make a book of executive orders that's prepared and ready for your principal upon arrival. So be proactive if you show up, and even if your principal isn't there, find out everything that
Remember, consume as much conservative propaganda as possible and understand how your job works.
you can and be ready to prepare them. And this again will save a tremendous amount of time both for your principal, and it will get you up to speed very quickly on how your office works. Now, the next thing that you'll want to do is to meet with senior career staff. Again, depending on your position in the office. I do recommend that when you first start to meet with careers as a time-saving measure is to keep them.
It is really weird over the course of all these videos how they've normalized the weird pejorative like us versus them term for like people who just work in the government, cross administrations, and aren't politicized. Yeah, the careers, all those people who, know things and how they work. The careers, those disgusting perverts.
Initial meetings to 20 to 30.
Yeah, knowing stuff is pretty anti-American. Watch out, pal. You think you know how the bureaucracy works? Why, that's something a communist would say. A Marxist communist.
30 minutes and hold that boundary. Hold the meetings to that period of time. Ask your senior staff or the career staff that you're meeting with for the first time to be prepared to tell you their greatest priorities are about the most important project they are working on. This is a huge time save. I know that when you first arrived in the office,
all of these political hacks, and I'm not talking about the life tips.
Career staff wants to be very helpful, and they have a tremendous amount of expertise and understanding in their lane. You have to know about everything going on in the office. So they can monopolize your time trying to brief you on every single detail when you first walk in the door. Again, as a judge, I know that there is only so much information that any person can retain.
Oh my God! What? I'm sorry. You have to pay attention to what she just said.
On in the office, standing in their lane, you have to know about everything going on in the office, so they can monopolize your time trying to brief you on every single detail when you first walk in the door.
They can monopolize your time trying to brief you on every single detail when you first walk in the door.
Again, as a judge, I know that there is only so much information that any person can retain at any given time.
Look, I know you're all dipshits who can't understand if someone sits down and explains to you how the system works, okay? So don't let them monopolize your time by giving you helpful advice on how to make things happen in your workplace. She was a judge. Yeah, then she was appointed by Donald Trump.
So you keep those meetings to 20 to 30 minutes. It's going to tell you about priority, who actually listens to direction and who doesn't. It's going to give you an out so you don't get stuck with this big weedy conversation. And at that point, you can then, as you go forward, start to increase times of meetings. In the first position I had, it was an 89-person office with about 68 full-time career staff. And I just met with every single person. I met with senior staff, obviously, for about 30 minutes apiece. And then I met with every other career federal staff person for 15 minutes. And it was an excellent, even though it took a couple of weeks, it was an excellent use of time. It told me so much about the office and quickly familiarized me with each person individually. And now the calendar. The calendar. So many people want to run away from the calendar. I want to say embrace the calendar because it's an extremely important tool.
It's been around for a few thousand years. I think it's proven itself as a valuable ally.
It is basically who gets in and out of the door. So there's a tremendous amount of power. There's also a lot of responsibility with the calendar. But the first thing I would say for anyone coming in is to limit access to your calendar. Do that.
Because you want to make sure that you're the only one who knows when the eclipses are happening and when the wheat harvest is due, okay? You need to make sure that information is extraordinarily valuable, okay? If that calendar info were to get out, the raiders could be at your doorstep come harvest season, and that is no good for anyone.
That on day one. This will save
Eclipses
you so
are
much
witchcraft.
time.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Career staff will
You get it.
oftentimes, if they have access to your calendar, will put meetings on your calendar without your knowledge and will without necessarily the process for vetting that you've put in place. In my experience, I found career staff really took huge blocks of time on my calendar and would put meetings on with them in order to take up my entire day. So it was very difficult to get anything else completed. So you want to limit access to your top and trusted staff and have read-only access to senior staff who just needs to know where you are. Make sure you make it a policy that no meeting is put on the calendar without you or your political staff's approval. You want to be very flexible in your first month, open-minded, ready to pivot. Also, this is a big Washington, D.C. tip. Leave your house early. Schedule lots of time around meetings if they are out of the office. I was late to a meeting once. I left in what I thought was plenty of time, and I ended up being late to a really important senior meeting, and it's a mistake I will never forget. When my friends asked,
You'll never forget? Really? You'll be on your deathbed and you'll still remember being late to a meeting at work? That I hesitate to say this, but this is kind of a beta move. Very not alpha, let alone very not sigma.
asked me about what the transition was like from my hometown
And very, very far from sigma.
to Washington, D.C., I said, everything's great, except I'm late all the time. And being someone who takes time management so seriously, that was just terrible. The traffic in Washington, D.C. is very tough. Ubers will take 6 to 10 minutes to get to you.
How close is it to Ligma? That's getting a bit far afield, but, still somewhere in the general ballpark.
For the worst, and make sure you leave enough time to get to where you need to be out of the office. The next tip we're going to talk about is effective communication. You will save so much time if you communicate your preferences, policies, and internal direction clearly from the beginning if you're a senior staff member, and ask questions if you are a junior staff member.
This one is correct. This is just correct. Effectively communicating your wants and desires and needs will save you so much time in life. If you're struggling with dating, guys, just effectively communicate what you actually want. Like, just talk with the person you're interested in and be like, hello, I like you. Would you like to go out on a date? Another hot tip, turn up to work on time. Yeah.
Remember, on some level, every single political appointee is junior to someone. In my case, it was to the Attorney General, his staff, the deputy.
Look, Gamer G, while that seems intuitive to us, Republicans do need to be reminded that honesty is, in fact, an effective time management tool.
Attorney General, his staff, and the associate and her staff. Cabinet secretaries are actually junior to the
what
president.
If they say no?
Everyone has a
The other part of it, Uncle Gumbald, is just like decoupling your self-worth from the interaction, like if they say no, like, you can choose how you interpret them saying no. Instead of interpreting it as a rejection of your core entity and being, interpret it as, no, well, they're just not into it. They don't like the vibe. They don't like the shirt I'm wearing. That's fine. I like my shirt. I like who I am. I'm pretty sure they're banking on people who like have literally zero experience in any kind of thing. If they say no, time to die. Exactly. You got it.
Process to learn is the point. It's a true time saver to call their assistants or chiefs of staff to find out what their expectations are for their meetings, written presentations, or memos, and travel. If documents are being sent back and forth, they are in the incorrect format, you're going to waste a lot of time simply because of a format issue. So just find out how people want things. A meeting request at the White House has a very particular form. You can't just send an email to your friend who works over there. So you need to make sure
at this point, serious question, why not? Right? Like the entire point of this is to destroy the bureaucratic system, is to gut the entire way it functions, to undermine and subvert it in the name of empowering a fascist dictator named Donald Trump. That's the point of this. So why are you well, you can't just call up your friend at the White House and get something done that way? Why not? Explain to me why not. What are the actual mechanisms that are in place that would prevent you from doing that in a way that would be effective?
Form is filled out correctly. You really are wasting time to not find out about these processes. Remember also to inquire about process when a person moves their position. So what that means is if all of a sudden your supervisor or your superior changes, then you need to find
You have to have some rules or you'd have anarchy like Antifa. True, silly me, hadn't considered it.
out how they like things done. It won't be the same as the person before them, most likely. If you routinely take half an hour for lunch, you will have to ask your assistant to schedule that time. If you want to go to your child's soccer game, get it on the schedule. If you get to work at 7 a.m. and want political staff there with you, communicate that need.
Okay, can I put forward just an idea? Humbly, okay? Humbly. I don't believe that any of these people are showing up to work at 7 o'clock in the morning. I don't think that is true. I don't think these people wake up at 7 a.m. to go into work. Are you kidding me? They're coming in at 10 a.m. How on earth are you so busy that you're going into the office at 7 a.m. to work on this for Donald Trump? Your job there is to be as ineffective as possible while making the system you exist in. That's like a 10 to 5 job. Okay? That's not a 7 to 6 job. That's not a 7 to 5 job. Come on.
So much time is wasted when staff are guessing what a principal wants. I spend so much time.
Yeah, but your wife does actual work, Lady Raincloud. These people's job are to be inept and destroy the system they work in. Their job is literally to be bad at their job.
I'm rebooking my own travel one time because I did not effectively communicate my needs and preferences on my first trip. Lesson learned. Things move so fast in the administration. Effectively setting deadlines is imperative. You must then communicate the deadline. More on that when we talk about documents. Internal meetings is another topic to discuss with time management. Federal career employees are used to having a lot of meetings. When I saw the schedule of internal meetings with career staff that was set prior,
I said, mister, no more of these meetings. We're going to have one meeting a week with me.
To my arrival, I wondered how I would ever get the president's priorities implemented. Set regular meetings for no more than 45 minutes with senior staff on a regular basis. I found that 2 times per month was reasonable. To prepare for meetings and ensure everyone is ready, junior staff can pull together an agenda. Meetings should always be forward-looking. How is your office advancing the presidential agenda? How are they implementing the president's priorities?
Have you told the president how big his dick is today?
If a topic is raised which starts to monopolize the time, set that topic aside and schedule a separate, maybe 15-minute meeting for the staff who are interested. If stakeholders or other people from outside the government are coming in for a meeting, be sure there's a thorough vet of the individuals and their organization. This will enable the meeting to be focused on the issue at hand, not holding endless get-to-know-you kind of conversations. Career staff will try to place their favorite groups or stakeholders on your calendar. Be sure those groups are thoroughly vetted, and the staff responsible can explain why this meeting is vital to your day, to the president's agenda, before recommending it to your principal or putting it on the calendar. Prepare, prepare, prepare. Internal meetings with senior officials are a priority. If the cabinet secretary or deputy secretary wants to schedule a meeting, that takes priority over the rest of your schedule, which can mean—
That's right. You drop everything when the Führer calls, okay? When he calls, you drop everything and you run. You run right into his manly bosom, his manly pape, okay? You run right into it and just nestle in there, okay? For he alone can fix it.
Again, a quick adjustment of a calendar. A meeting at the White House is obviously a priority as well, and is something I hope every one of you politicals get the opportunity to do, to attend. While you're over there, make sure that you do take some time to soak in the history and beauty of the EEOB or the West Wing, depending on where your meeting is.
What do these meetings exist for? Well, in their conception, the meetings exist for dissolving the bureaucratic mechanisms.
Meet with some friends, or maybe even go thank the PPO staff who spent so much time and energy onboarding you. That being said, know that most meetings at the White House are at the staff level, start right on time, and end exactly when they are scheduled to end. If someone is mid-sentence, I was in many meetings where this happened, at 2 p.m. and the meeting is scheduled to end at 2 p.m., people will just stand up and walk out. This is because they are so booked back to back with meetings that they have to stay on schedule. We simply have so much to do in order to have the country that we all desire and want, and only potentially 4 years to get it done. So don't take that personally. And if you are going to speak in a meeting, make sure it's done succinctly and it is a good use of everyone's time. Now we'll talk about external meetings. If you are—
Oh my God, I forgot there's a second category of meeting that she wanted to talk about. Oh my God, this is my personal hell.
Are headed to a different agency, the same vetting rules apply to your internal meetings. Know who you are meeting with, get their bio, and what their office does.
Like, are you serious? You have to tell people that you need to know who you're meeting with, that you need to understand what their role and function is. This isn't rocket science. You should. The people you are putting in there should already know these things. Come on.
Does. Make sure you know who's going to be in the meeting and what.
This is the most basic of not even like bureaucracies within the government, just basic workplace knowledge.
Topics are going to be discussed so you can be prepared and not waste anyone's time. Conferences. Now, you will be invited to a lot of conferences. Career staff usually encourages you to get out of the office and go to conferences. It is very important to take these opportunities to highlight the great work of the president and
Look, okay, the president needs some ego stroking from time to time, and if you can go out there into the world and stroke his ego to completion, like, he'll appreciate it.
our agenda. Most of you will not have the time to stay for the entire conference. Of course, if
Oh,
your
true, Lady
principal
Raincloud, true.
believes that for some reason you need to be there, then by all means, if you are invited,
Who gets these Project 2025 training videos? These videos are intended for people who signed up for the Heritage Foundation program, were vetted, and put into the pool of standing folks who want to be part of, unraveling democracy.
to speak, show up an hour or so before, have a meeting with your host, give your speech, take some time to thank the host, talk with some people after, and leave. However, because you've traveled to this conference and you're somewhere else in the United States, be sure to research and see if if there are agency funded programs or grant recipients in the area. Set up as many meetings as possible with grant recipients and agency programs as you can. This is a very worthwhile use of your time. You are serving these people and the people of this country.
You might have second thoughts about this, about how worthwhile the things you're doing are, but don't think about it too much. Shh. You're very valuable to us. Shh. Well, you alive the first chance we get. Shh. Wait, what? Oops.
And by seeing their successes, instead of always meeting in Washington, D.C., is a great use of your time. For instance, I always made a meeting with the U.S. Attorney in the area where I was speaking and multiple grant programs as well. One thing to remember, even though not everyone that you're going to meet with agrees with your policies, do not let that deter you from making these visits. Speaking to organizations, associations, and grant recipients may be one of the most important parts of your job, which is letting people know what's actually happening with the president's agenda. Now, Congress. Your visits to Congress will usually be set up through your Office of Legislative Affairs. Your time commitment is really preparation. You need to know everything.
Oh, really? Do you need to be prepared to talk to Congress? Is that what you need to do? You need to know what you're going to say if you're going to talk to one of the main governing bodies of in the United States. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You need to know what you're going to say. You can't just pull that shit out of your ass. Huh? Weird.
About your office, the topic that your representative wants to discuss or the staff people want to discuss, your appropriations. Every level of political should be involved in the preparation for these meetings. And our final topic today is document review. Finally, after all of this, the internal meetings, the external meetings, the political.
Oh, should you review the documents that you're putting out there? What a novel concept.
The White House, the rescheduling, all the things that we've already talked about. Now we're going to talk about the paper. You will never receive as many emails as you will in the federal government. On top of all the emails are all the policy documents, rules, proposed rules, grant applications, internal documents, external guidance that needs to be reviewed and edited. Reviewing and editing documents for external release and internal use is perhaps the most important task you will have while in the administration. Documents must be edited so they are precisely in line with the president's agenda.
And remember, if you're quoting one of the sections from his Truth Social posts, remember, everything must be capitalized.
Familiarize yourself with every executive order that is executed and use those orders as your guidance for all.
Wait, chat, you know what it means. If you need to have excellent command over the English language and have top-tier communication abilities, you're going to have to use all the parts of speech, which includes...
fucking pronouns!
Crazy stuff. woke Trump administration.
All document review. I know it's already been a long day. You had back-to-back meetings from breakfast.
Girl,
It's already 7 p.m.
Girl, you don't even know how long of a day I've had, okay? You don't even know.
Now is a great time to tackle some documents. Planes are also quite a good time to catch up as well. Remember, if a document is hung up with you, you are literally stopping the president's agenda from moving forward. My friends, weekends and nights may be a thing of the past for your time while you are in the administration. Just remember, every single minute counts, and every single minute is worth it. Enjoy this precious time. It will be the best, most special time of your professional life.
That's really sad. Like the best and most special time of your professional life is going to be lying to cover Donald Trump's ass. That seems really not fun.
There is nothing like serving your president.
There's nothing like getting down on your knees, holding up your hands in supplication, and serving your president. Amazingly cucked energy. It really is incredible, isn't it? These are insane. It is truly like taking a moment here. This is like just a straight up normalized plan to kill democracy. Put out into the world, and people are acting like this is another, just another election cycle, everything business as usual. Insane stuff.
Fruitable Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube and swishy streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, being plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's